Ladies and gentlemen, we've made it. I'm going to have to start a William Savant chair fund. This fucking chair is breaking my back. I can't take it anymore.
It's breaking your back?
Yes, if anybody ever wants to see me in this program ever again, we're going to have to start because I don't just need any chair. I need like an ergonomic, psychotic, demonic, robotic, supersonic. Guys,
Supersonic.
Welcome to another episode of William versus the World. If this is your first time watching, I don't care.
Hi.
Nah. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. There's not a lot of time. There's not a lot of free time. There's not a lot of mortality left in any of you motherfuckers. So I know if you've taken a brief moment to be with me, I need to share my gratitude. Thank you so much for being here. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Lexi's here with me. And if this is your first time watching, you guys know a fantastic way to help us here. Look out for the world. Lexi has the globe over there. Like, we're not kidding. When we say William versus the world, bring it to me. I'll show him.
Hold on.
Oh, gosh.
I don't want to break anything.
Don't break anything. Hold
Careful,
on.
it's delicate.
I know. It was my grandmother's. When we say William versus the world, it's not a
We're looking
it's not
at
a gag.
this all the time.
What is going on over there with that? With your
what?
microphone? I hear a lot of energy over there.
Oh, because I'm moving around.
Oh, okay. All right.
And the microphone was really close to my face.
Got you.
Yeah.
Guys, there's one way you can support. Well, I'll give you a couple ways you can support us here on the page. You can support our live streams and most of our uploads here on the page by donating stars. Another way that you can donate to the band and to our live streams on social media is, of course, to subscribe to the page. You can subscribe right here and support us on Facebook. If you do, we'll stick you in some secret groups where we have recordings. We do behind-the-scenes video shoots. It's a little more of an in-depth look in behind the scenes of what we do day to day, creating, music videos, recordings, content creation. If you're into that, subscribe to us. Welcome to the page. This is our band page. My name is William. I play guitars. This is a hard rock and heavy metal band. We're from Manchester, New Hampshire, and offstage, we're also streamers, advertisers, content creators, and everyday people. Again, you can donate to the band here. You can donate to our images and broadcasts, live stream by donating stars or subscribing to the page. That's the best I can do. This is the only page, you guys, where we're covering live music and the news the way that we do. Simply put, we kind of talk about the things, Lexi, that people just avoid talking about, and we talk about it in a way that people avoid talking about it.
But they like it when we talk about it.
The reason why we can talk about the things that we talk about is because we are a group of rare musicians that are not... Our ultimate destination is to not be accepted or recruited by the music industry. So because we're not hoping that we have viral success, or we might not be going in the particular path that most artists and musicians do, we don't always have to be on our best behavior, which gives us the ability to talk about some things that maybe other musicians traditionally would avoid because of their professional career path.
Right.
We're not journalists or news reporters, but it is time for another episode of William versus the World! You never know what you're going to get. You never know. Lex, we have a lot to talk about today, so we got to jump right in. We can't even take no.
Jump right in with no diarrhea.
All right. Gosh. We can never go too long without a Spotify story. So we got that coming up at some point. But right now, we wanted to talk about who is in the running for buying TikTok. As you guys know, the current situation with TikTok, they're kind of in limbo. Are you excited about this?
I thought you were gonna say something.
You thought I was going to say something nasty?
No, political.
Oh, no. No. That's...
I was like, from the running, let's...
No, there's two topics here that I try to avoid as much as possible. In today's world, it's hard to. Who... I'm sure we'll get into that here. But who is running to buy TikTok? I'm sure somebody political, Lexi.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to buy ice cream without having silly conversations like that today. So we'll try to have some intellectual transparency and honesty for this program so we don't kill people with it.
Right.
If you guys want to go see angry villains, there's plenty of that all over the news. Who's in the running to buy TikTok? All the angry villains. We already know that. Here's the current list of interested idiots. The last executive order, so you can't even go a line, expanding the deadline to which ByteDance must divest TikTok or face a ban in the United States. Numerous parties have come out of the woodwork looking for a piece of the pie. Digital colonialism is in full effect, but the mechanics of a potential sale are still up in the air, like you just don't care. And that is assuming TikTok's China-based parent will even agree to sell it. Which is interesting to me. Like, I love how we're all talking about selling it or buying it, because that's the American thing to do, is to shop.
My question is,
Yeah.
if it's banned,
Yeah.
why sell it? Have someone from here try to buy it
Mhm.
if it's banned. If it's banned, it's banned. You shouldn't be able to buy it.
We're doing a lot of should and shouldn'ts. I'm just saying that we're all talking about it, but it's not for sale.
Okay, good.
That's kind of why I'm covering it. It's the dumbest thing that we're talking about.
That's exactly why I asked the question that I just asked, because I'm like, this is kind of stupid.
Put a 1 in the chat if you like TikTok. Who likes TikTok in the chat? No, I'm not setting you up. It's not a setup. Do you like it or you don't? ByteDance has been trying to sell crack for years. Excuse me. ByteDance has been saying for years that selling TikTok is not an option. Partly due because they don't give a shit. No. It says partly because the government's unwillingness to part with its proprietary algorithms. I mean, that doesn't sound anything different than beat makers or patent designers. You know, people who trademark patents feel the same way. Is that?
What's a proprietary algorithm?
Oh gosh. Let me say this. They don't want to share their magical sauce with anybody else. Is that better?
That makes perfect sense.
Okay. It's just that they have, like Facebook, they have a blueprint. Sepsis has a blueprint. We have a recipe, right?
I don't want to sell it.
I don't give a shit. I don't put, look. Let me tell everybody straight faced. Hold on. I got to get my William face going on. Look. I think this is an important conversation. You brought up something very important, Lexi. And it gives me the opportunity to tell the story of the band. What you just brought up gave me the opportunity to show people exactly the reason why we do this program. It's because the information that we have in this program, our recipe in sepsis, is open sourced. It's peer reviewed and it's open sourced, meaning we don't gatekeep technology, we don't hide the secret sauce, and we don't have a recipe to our heavy metal that we're not willing to share with everybody else. Anything that sepsis has been successful doing in the industry during our career climb is open source, and we are willing to share it with other companies, large and small, because we don't have anyone to fear. We don't plan on running out of creativity because Sepsis is in the business of originality. Sepsis is in the business of originality, and we are in the business of being authentic. So if your goal is to be authentic and you don't see yourself running out of creativity, then you never fear having people observe, fine-tune, or make adjustments to your recipe. That's why the most successful songs in the world are remixed. That's why we haven't reinvented the toilet. You know what I'm saying? Because people figured it out, and and the thing is like we don't have anything to gain for gatekeeping that technology. There's nothing that Sepsis gains by us gatekeeping our success. Bands think that because they have a fear of running out of talent, of running out of originality or opportunity. So somewhere along the lines, they're not keeping it real. Liars are buyers. The more shit that you want to lie about and fake in your life, you have to buy a gadget, or you have to buy a secret costume, or you have to buy the image to make it look like it. Driver's licenses don't actually make people perform better in an automobile. It's just a piece of fucking paper. People get talked out of their own talent and time. There's an idea, and the products and capitalism and the American dream push the idea that there's not enough for you and your neighbor might have more. That's the game that they're playing. The game is the guy next door has better grass than you. That you're going to run out of originality, so you better buy in now. That's the game for everything. For sure. And that's, you know what I mean? And that's what it really comes down to. So in terms of like what we do here, unlike when we're looking at the story and you asked a question about TikTok, what they're worried about is they're worried about other people reading their recipe of success. They're worried about people being able to read the sensitive text and codes and documents. They're worried about people taking a snapshot of what they do and making it better. They're scared of competition. This is the same thing you see in local bands. And the reason why you never see us flinch, you never see us give a flying rat's ass about competition in independent music is because me and Melissa are original. We are the originators of what we do. And we do it so well, there isn't anybody that has the guts to even think about doing what we do. You got to get something like that in life. That way you can step forward in confidence. That way nobody can talk you out of your talent. That way when people ask us, hey, what's the truth about sepsis? What's the blueprint? What's the recipe? We don't sit there in fear and worry about what our enemies, what our fans, or what our trolls will discover about us. Because we don't live in secrecy. Because we don't feel like we're going to run out of honesty. We don't feel like we're going to run out of originality. We don't feel like we're going to run out of time. And we don't feel like anybody can talk us out of our talent and value. We'll open up the recipe. We'll open up our success and our blueprint here in Sepsis because we are always a work in progress. What do we give a shit if our plan is to only be better tomorrow? We don't have a problem with sharing our data from last year. It's almost insufficient. By the time anybody views something that we're doing, we're already on to the next thing. You know that. The only people that are terrified to share their blueprints of success are people that are terrified of competition. Yep.
I find it interesting that
Your thoughts.
that TikTok wants to keep their blueprint and they're worried about competition when the United States just released AI
Mm-hmm.
and China released AI.
Well, yes and no, because the difference between some people creating these programs is it's open source. Whereas the products that we have here are not open to other people.
That's why I'm saying what I'm saying, because everyone here in the United States is like,
Yes.
oh my God, they like stole what we just did. But it's like, did they? I
Well,
don't think so.
it's like saying who made up the tricycle. It's a war on words at that point. Who made up machine learning and chatbots? We're getting, you know what I mean? We're not talking about who does it good. We're not talking about who does it right.
No.
We're not talking about who does it fair. We're talking about who does it first. And that's for dummies.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. Like, they're concerned with this competition, but
Yeah.
like,
I can't answer why a given company does what they do, but it's like the race to the man on the moon and racing with rockets and racing with bombs. A lot of people, it's about how the story is and what's written in history and who did it first and all the other
that
shit.
doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't to me either, and I sympathize with your posture on it, but that's what they do. Billionaires are bored.
That's what
They-
it sounds like to me.
they
It's a
make
bunch of
stuff-
people that
well-
are bored.
well, no,
and not
rapper-
original.
Rappers do it. They make up a flow, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
another rapper comes on and adds to it and does a little better. Then the original guy goes, "Hey man, you stole my flow." Once he starts seeing the other guy become successful,
Same shit.
right, and then when one band or rapper becomes wildly successful, the majority, hear me out, the majority of musicians and bands and rappers look at the very few people at the top, and everyone tries to mimic the top people that are successful. The top successful layers of industry and corporations, it doesn't matter what field, what level of industry, the top performing farms, all the smaller farms look to those top performing farms and they try to replicate the algorithms. They try to replicate the success. They try to replicate the tax templates. They try to replicate
As if they know.
all the hooks.
As if they know.
Right, as if there's a recipe, as if they and look at restaurants. Restaurants, they all say the same thing. They all take a snapshot, they all study trends, and they look at the market. It's all Wall Street and all people that are replicating behaviors from wildly successful, limited amount of people that run the world.
Oh, we're just washed.
We're just washed. It's just
We're just washed.
that's it. So I'm explaining it. The smallest radio stations in the world that are dying for success and growth, they don't know how to do it. So they all look to successful radio stations. The issue is there is not a broad scope of radio stations that we can view. There's only a bunch of radio stations that are under one company. So the issue is you got Samsung and you got iPhone. So if you want to make an iPhone, the entire fucking planet that wants to make phones has to look towards the limited few people, the limited few rappers, the limited few programmers, the limited few successful products at the top, so they can take a snapshot of the blueprint. They could take a snapshot of the flow, jiggity biggity biggity big. They could take a snapshot of the trend, the guitar tone, the dress, whatever the fuck it is. They take a snapshot of the limited few amount of people at the top that are thought to be successful. they take machines and bots and they fucking learn it and fucking study it, you know, and nerd out on it. And then,
It's like when Neil deGrasse said, not everyone can be a scientist.
brother, look. We happen to be, because of the internet, we are all fantasizing that we all are or want to be experts in fields that we will never be in.
Not everyone can be what they want to be. Not everyone
And
can
that's
be a
because
scientist.
people want to be one thing or another instantly.
Mhm.
And when they can't, they buy it synthetically.
And say, "Oh, I'm successful."
And they exactly, and then they consume and devour the data. They devour the images that give them the rush to be on par with people that really go to dentist school, with people that really go to law school. There's nothing that people love better than jumping on the internet and arguing with lawyers because they got Google in their pocket.
It's just the internet.
It's just laziness and wannabe behavior.
Yeah, people on the internet.
Yeah, that's all it is, man. Liars are buyers. When you can't, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. I'm glad you understand. It is a tough topic. But so far, anyways, people that are on the bid for TikTok, the offer is $20 billion. From Frank Court, Kevin O'Leary, Tim Burns, and other investors. I don't know who that is, but you guys could Google them. That'd be fun. Jesse Tinsley assembled consortium. The offer amount is significantly more than $20 billion. What are your thoughts there? Elon's Pizza. He had an offer amount, but it's secret. You know, whatever. Microsoft, they offered a secret amount. And why? So nobody can compete with it. Because it's not money. They're offering technology and trade secrets and secrets. Secret time. And who are they keeping the secrets from?
Us.
Oracle, I don't know who that is. They got a secret bid. Currently asking key provider TikTok, managing security statewide user data. Perplexity AI CEO, whatever their name is, they offered. Bobby Kotick offered hundreds of billions of dollars for TikTok.
He's the only one that has the balls to tell people what he paid or what he offered.
Mark Zuckerberg, Meta, he's shown some interest in TikTok, though his company would likely face antitrust scrutiny if he were to buy the app. I'm done with this. Here, in other news, Mark Zuckerberg removed tampons from men's restrooms, but apparently his employees just put them back. So, there you have it.
This is the same guy that's like, there needs to be more manly men. He goes in, tries to remove what he tried to remove, and they put it back in.
That's all I have to say.
There
is actually no other news on that. I just wanted to share that with you.
He's not so manly. That's all I have to say.
Well, let's read some comments from the chat. Han says you could buy a golden toilet for $150,000.
That's still less than what people are offering for TikTok.
Significantly. And if I was going to buy a special toilet, I would buy a prison toilet. Because you can flush anything down them. They're just special. If you know, you know. What up, Sean? Yes, it is ICG tonight. Did you know that ICG is getting a name change?
It's no longer going to be Immaculate Connection Gaming.
Nope. It's going to be ICG. It's still going to be ICG. But from what I'm hearing from the top, I'm hearing that ICG will no longer be Immaculate Connection Gaming. It will be Inclusive Community Gaming. What do you think about that?
I like that.
Do you like that?
I like that.
Do you guys like that? Do you guys like that? It's kind of off topic.
That's a strong title.
Yeah.
I
To
like
promote more diversity, inclusion, girls.
that. If you guys got an Xbox One, hop on. That's what I have to say.
Yeah.
Get
So
Halo Infinite.
during this year, Melissa wants to change the name from Immaculate Connection Gaming to Inclusive Community Gaming.
I like that.
Apparently we're
Solid.
still keeping the WASP. We're still keeping all of that. And it will still be called ICG. Nothing has changed. It will just be more of a community and, encouraging, a variety of people heading into GTA and the new video games that we're going to play.
Yes, we're all going to collectively run everyone over.
Yeah. I mean, it's just we're doing more, so we want to grow. And with that, I do have some video game news for everybody. It's the end of an era for PlayStation and Xbox.
What?
That's right.
What?
It
Why?
seems like the days of the console wars are starting to come to an end, and both Sony and Microsoft start to take different approaches on how they release their games. Where traditionally each studio would compete to outsell the other with their console sales, exclusive titles don't hold the same kind of weight they used to. This has caused each company to rethink and change the way their exclusive games are released. Now, Lex, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I've been talking about. Do you see Samsung, iPhone, PlayStation, Xbox, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, Poppy, Courtney? Do you see what's going on here?
Yeah.
Reebok, Nike.
Yes.
When we first got into the music industry, I remember a group of women sitting around a table. And myself and Melissa were watching the interview. And the woman was a very successful heavy metal vocalist. And she had said and made the remark, something to the effect of, there is only a handful of women that are allowed in mainstream national heavy metal at a time. And at the idea, at the time, I fell over my chair laughing. I thought it was ridiculous. Do you know how I feel today?
They're right.
They're right. And this is the same thing. And you say, oh, the console wars are done. Why are the PlayStation and Xbox console wars done? Why? Because just like in music, the independent market is a $17 billion market. Consoles as a gadget, we just don't need big pieces of plastic to play video games anymore.
You're right.
And this proves it. Because, look, they don't need to compete. Do you see? They said right there in the article that they used to release these machines and products, and the idea was they had, that they would have these console wars where they would compete in sales until a winner would emerge, and you know what I mean? And off, wash, rinse, and repeat. And that's what we've been doing. And as I've been telling my friends in the gaming community, those days are over with because of the way that we consume digital entertainment. The way we store our value. The way we store our memories and moments. And I explained that the day the console wars are over, is the day that gaming heads into the cloud space. The day the competition is over, you understand that even the independent market is competitive. And that's why video games are free, mainstream. Mainstream video games are almost free. That's why everything's bundled up. Let's take a listen to what they got to say, though, before we move on. With technology improving at a rapid pace and gamers diversifying their method of play, Microsoft and Sony have recognized for different reasons that exclusivity may not be the boon that it used to be. And there's another thing they're not telling you here. It's just like the music industry. When people could start writing records and recording records at homes, and the industry could not exploit the artists the way that they used to, they said, fuck you then. We're not going to pay you for the music. As soon as artists could shoot their own music videos, as soon as we could record ourselves, as soon as we could do our own accounting, as soon as we figured out how to use computers to do our own math and record our own music, the record labels, the music industry told us to go fuck ourselves and to go fend for ourselves. And see, what you're not seeing here is the same thing, is that years ago, it used to take a whole team to put out a record. Years ago, it took a whole team to get an artist on the road. It created jobs. Same thing with video games and movies. You used to have 100 people on the set. Now, all you need is one guy, his AI agents, and an iPad. So just like music, people that are developing video games, pretty soon, 7-year-old kids, my kids develop video games. Kids develop video games now. We're not in the era where we need to ask experts and celebrities to do our accounting for us. Like I said, everybody can kind of feel like a lawyer. Everyone can make a video game. Everyone can make a recording. So when that happens, the industry goes, oh man, fuck you. We need to go make more technology that you guys don't know how to use so we can exploit you and overcharge you for it. Once everybody knows how to make video games and music, we're not so impressed anymore. Once everybody, you know what I mean? Once we all have AI, we don't need developers. Before, you had to go to school and you had to learn how to be a coder, and you spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to school and to become a coder, and the technology that you learned on computers 25 years ago is not important anymore. If you went to school for music engineering, if you went to school for digital art, if you went to school for photography, that shit's out the window. Somebody pretty promised you that you were going to go to culinary arts and become a fucking chef. Somebody pretty promised you that you were going to put a ring on his finger and he was going to love you and fuck you every weekend, bitch, and you went for it. Thoughts?
And this sounds like the classic, people figured out how to do it themselves.
Mm-hmm. Independence.
Skipping the middleman. Skipping the corporate. They figured out a way, just like how we're going to keep doing it. People are going to keep figuring out a way to do it themselves without all that extra stuff.
Why do kids work the farm? Because they think they're going to get it someday. Would the kids work the farm for their parents if they didn't think they were going to get an inheritance? Would the kids stay at the farm and work the farm if they didn't think they were going to get the keys to the crib?
No, they wouldn't. They'd try to figure out something else for themselves.
Okay.
It's the same thing.
If they weren't going to stay and inherit the farm, it means that they were going to inherit survival. That is my point.
Mm-hmm. Every time. Survival will always win. If someone is determined to be successful at something, they will find every wit's way to do it. That's why people hate DIY. That's why probably
because you can't get smoked. You're right. They can't smoke you. The more things you know how to do yourself.
They can't exploit you. Yeah. They can't take money from you.
Is somebody knocking on the door?
Yeah.
That is a very weird thing. Who is it?
So there is maple syrup, and maple syrup comes from trees.
front door?
It sounded like it came from the front door.
That's what I thought too. I don't think they're here for us. They got the wrong door. Sorry, everybody. It happens. It happens.
I was telling them where maple syrup came from. But they said it came from
She was
trees.
like, blink, blink. What the hell y'all talking about?
You were gone. I was like, I don't have a story this time. I'm going to tell them where maple syrup comes from.
Oh, shit. Guys, Twisted Sister's JJ Friends is the latest old dude, it says here, to incorrectly claim that Rock is dead.
Thank you. Thank
mean,
you
I
for
don't-
telling us what we already know.
Thanks, Jay. Do you guys think rock? Do you guys think rock and roll is dead? Excuse me, I'm sorry. Do you guys think rock and roll is dead? JJ French, from Twisted Sister, they say that he's the latest old dude that incorrectly claims that rock is dead. Do you guys agree with JJ? Who wants to hear Twisted Sister guitarist JJ French's opinion on the dumbest debate in rock music? Well, nobody. Who is it? What do you want? No, I don't. It might have been delivered here, but I don't have a package like that, so they might have picked it back up. Are you claiming that I have your package? Then call the police. Call the police. Oh, she said that you have her package. I said, bitch, you better call the police with that bullshit. Maybe you can go talk to her. I told her to call the cops. Stupid bitch. Read them the article.
Rock is dead. Let's read about it. Who wants to hear guitarist JJ French's opinion on the dumbest debate in rock music? Nobody. Well, I have a fill-up article. Here we go. In a recent interview with Barstools and Band Talk that was transcribed by Blabbermouth, French was asked why he thinks rock is dead, and he started talking out his ass about there being no young rock stars. Here's what he has to say. Here we go. People say to me, "What makes you say rock is dead?" Well, here's my take on that. When I was 17 years old, back in 1969, all my heroes, Beatles, the Rolling Stones, The Who, Led Zeppelin, Floyd, Jimi Hendrix, Bob Dylan, Grateful Dead, Jefferson Airplane, you name it. You name 'em all. Okay. None of them were older than 27. Now think about this for a second. The greatest rock artists in history of the world when I was 17 were no older than 10 years more than me. Most of them were 25 to 27. Well, I say, name me a 27-year-old rock star right now, and nobody can name one. That would be a terrible argument even if it wasn't wrong. Kat Moss of Scowl is currently 27, and Scowl's EP, Psychic, I don't know why I couldn't read that for a second. Psychic Dance Routine first cracked the Billboard charts in 2023. Poppy was nominated for her first Grammy in 2021 when she was 26. The Linda Lindas went viral in 2021 and they're still all 20 or younger. But sure, there's no young rock stars anymore. And even if that were the case, which it isn't, why do all the rock artists have to be under 27 for rock not to be dead? But he continued, Mr. French, he continued saying this. So when you tell me rock isn't dead, man, it's all over the place, I go, well, okay, fine. I'm not saying that there are no rock bands. I'm just saying that the collective psyche that dictates current music trends and sociological impact of music, it's not showing up in the rock world in terms of mass acceptance. What is showing up in the music world? Hip hop, huge. Country, huge. Female pop artists, huge. You can rattle off 20 rappers under the age of 25. You can rattle off 20 female pop singers under the age of 25. You can rattle off country artists by the ton. You're not rattling off rock musicians. It doesn't mean clearly that no one's creating it. It just means that the body of what we constitute as the standard rock act, 2 guitars, bass drums, lead singer, blah, 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 is for the most part, by and large, over. And if it is over and people say to me, well, how do you feel about that, man? I don't look at it and go, oh, why can't it come back? I go, you had a 55-year run. I mean, hell, what doesn't have a 55? Big band had a 20-year run and jazz had a 20-year run. They had 20-year runs. Disco had a 7-year run. Then it all kind of comes as a niche product. Does it mean disco's not around? No. Disco's around for certain people who like to listen to disco music. You can find the channel and listen to it all day long, but it's not impacting the world. Same thing with jazz and classical music. It's always going to sell. There's always going to be a body of people out there buying it. Wonderful. But the youth of America is not absorbing it and saying this is reflective of who we are. The writer goes, I really have to wonder if any of these rock stars claiming rock to be dead or maybe just not listening to the young artists. Maybe 72-year-old Jay French isn't really keeping up with what the youth of America is doing. But, of course, that doesn't stop them from pretending that they know what they're talking about. And I have to say to this, he makes a very valid point. You know, it's one thing. He makes a very valid point. You can't, you know, sure, Poppy has all the, he makes a very valid point. People are still creating rock music, so people are not stopping creating rock music. But what he is saying is that rock is dead. He makes a valid point. What do you guys think? That's Twisted Sister. That's Jay French. That's what he has to say about this guy. That's what he has to say about it.
Try that one.
This one?
Try it.
Ooh, here we go. The irony. The AI expert's testimony collapses over fake AI creations.
Let me help you out real quick.
That looks like the Matrix.
It is the Matrix.
That gavel. Ooh.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Do you know how to get back to that?
Yeah, I go down here.
Now click on it. Oh, good job.
Comment down below and put a 1 in the chat if you've watched The Matrix and you think that this gavel looks like from The Matrix. Do it. Here we go. in a time, just kidding, it says in a twist, that perfectly encapsulates the risk of artificial intelligence in the courtroom. In the courtroom, sorry. On January 10th, a Stanford professor hired as an expert witness in a lawsuit about AI-generated deepfakes had his testimony thrown out, people. It was thrown out after it was revealed that AI itself had hallucinated citations in his court filing. Oh, darn. This is getting juicy. Here we go. The case, which challenges Minnesota's ban on AI-generated election deepfakes, has now become a cautionary tale about the risks of over-reliance on AI-generated information in legal proceedings. Reuters reports. Here we go. As I previously, the writer of this article says, as I previously discussed in earlier Forbes article, the legal system is grappling with the role of AI in an expert testimony, but this case takes the debate to a whole new level, people. Even if an AI expert fails to verify AI-generated content, how can courts trust AI-assisted evidence? Huh? What do you guys think? How can they do it? The case. Here we go. AI errors derail expert testimony. The case in question centers around a Minnesota law banning AI-generated deepfakes designed to influence elections. The state enlisted Jeffrey T. Hancock, a Stanford University professor specializing in communication and AI, to support its argument that such deepfakes pose a legitimate threat to democracy. Wow. But in an ironic twist, Hancock admitted that he had used ChatGPT 40. There's ChatGPT 40? To help draft his export filing. And that's where things went wrong. The AI hallucinated a well-documented flaw of generative AI. See, we're getting to the juicy parts. Stay with me. This article is not done yet. Producing multiple entirely fabricated citations that seemed authoritative but referenced non-existent sources. Ha! Sorry for all you people that have headphone things. Opposing attorneys representing Minnesota State Representative Mary Franson and YouTuber Christopher Coles, who were challenging the deepfake law on First Amendment grounds. They're really questioning First Amendment rights these days. Discovered the bogus. Oh, it's bogus. I didn't know that's how you spelt it either. I learned something new. Citations and pointed them out to the judge. This resulted in the judge striking Hancock's testimony from the record. He striked it from the record that his credibility had been shattered like the glass. Sorry. The Minnesota Attorney General's office requested to submit a revised filing, but the judge denied the motion. They denied the motion. Here we go. This case exemplifies the core problem with AI-assisted legal analysts. Of course, while AI can accelerate research and streamline documentation, it cannot be blindly trusted. Thank you for putting it in fucking text. Gosh. The irony. An AI expert taken down by AI's flaws. We're trying to tell you about this, guys. It's hard to overstate the irony here. A leading expert on AI hired to warn about the dangers of AI-generated misinformation. They tried to do this. Was himself undone by AI-generated misinformation. His testimony was meant to highlight how AI deepfakes can mislead the public. We have been trying to tell you guys this. Yet his reliance on an AI tool without verification demonstrated how AI can mislead even trained professionals. People, read what's on your screen. His testimony, I'm going to highlight it, okay? His testimony was meant to highlight how AI deepfakes can mislead the public. Yet, his reliance on an AI tool without verification demonstrated how AI can mislead even trained professionals. Come on, people. Let's go. Oh, that's cute. That's adorable. As the writer of this particular article has written before, and we've talked about, AI has a place in forensic and legal work, but it must be rigorously vetted. There are potential pitfalls of AI-assisted expert testimony. While AI aid research, it cannot replace human judgment in verifying and validated critical evidence. You cannot do this. You need a human being. Here we go, next part. AI hallucinations. It hallucinates like us, like we do. How they happen and why they matter in court. Here we go. As a digital forensic, I'm not one. The person that wrote this article very beautifully is the person that is the forensic expert. I'm reading their words. I see firsthand, not me, the writer, how AI is changing the way we analyze evidence, but I also understand its limitations. AI hallucinations happen when a model like ChatGPT generates plausible but entirely fabricated information. It's entirely fabricated. Here we go. Bullet number 1. AI prioritizes coherence over accuracy. It's in boldface. It's right here. AI prioritizes coherence over accuracy. Highlighted, boldface. You see it. It generates responses, okay? It generates responses, okay? And they put in quotes for a reason, that sound right, rather than ensuring factual correctness. Here we go. Bullet number 2. Lack of real-world validation. This should have been number 1 in my opinion. It should have been. AI models don't fact check. I don't have to go any further with this. They don't fact check. Echo chamber effect is number 3. AI sometimes reinforces existing patterns in data without distinguishing between verified facts and speculative content. They don't know.
It's always been my problem with it.
They don't know. Here we go. In legal cases, AI hallucinations have serious consequences, and there's 3 bullet points to this. Number 1, false citations. As seen in this case, AI-generated legal citations may reference cases or statutes that don't exist, misleading attorneys and court. Fabricated forensic evidence. If forensic experts rely on AI-generated reports without validation, they risk introducing inaccurate evidence into courtrooms. Why? Anyways, erosion of credibility. Once AI-generated errors are exposed, which they are being exposed, all expert testimony, even the verified portions, becomes suspect. Here we go. The dangers. Let it sink in. The dangers. AI and expert testimony. Here we go.
The Minnesota case is not an isolated incident. Courts are seeing more AI-generated documents, expert reports, and filings that contain hallucinated legal references or misleading data analysis. Write your own papers and reports. In forensic science, AI is being used to analyze crime scene evidence, authenticate digital images, and even predict criminal behavior. But if experts fail to double check, fail to do the dirty work, fail to double check AI's findings, they could corrupt the entire legal process, which cannot be. As a forensic expert, I am not. The person that wrote this, again, is. I am not. I'm just reading their words to you. Stress. This in every case. AI should assist, not replace human judgment. I'm going to repeat this again. AI should assist. AI should assist, not replace human judgment. We must, and here are the bullet points for this. Number one, verify every AI generated claim. Verify it. Every citation, forensic analysis, or data point must be independently confirmed before submission to the court. I feel like that's common sense. Number two, educate legal professionals on AI's limitations. Judges, attorneys, and forensic experts need AI literacy training to recognize potential errors. Number three, demand. We demanded, goddammit, transparency in AI-assisted evidence. For God's sakes. Courts should consider requiring a clear disclosures when AI is used in legal arguments or expert testimony, and in what capacity. Here we go. Courts must be weary of AI, quote unquote, all systems. This case should be a wake-up call. Wake up. Wake up, everybody. Wake up. This case should be a wake-up call for attorneys, expert witnesses, and the judges alike. Wake up. Here we go. We're not sleeping no more. AI can be a valuable tool, but it cannot be blindly trusted in legal proceedings. The risk of unverified AI-generated information are too great, and the consequences, whether wrongful convictions or thrown out testimony, are too severe. It's too severe. We can't do it. As AI continues to permeate forensic investigations and courtroom proceedings, legal professionals must take responsibility for ensuring accuracy. Come on, people. This means rigorous fact-checking, verification, and transparency. Principles that are fundamental to both forensic science and the rule of law. Thank you. My goodness. If even an AI expert can be fooled by AI hallucinations, court must tread carefully when integrating. Integrating, thank you, artificial intelligence into the justice system. Good job.
That was great.
Good job. You did a good job.
What do you think about that?
Honestly, I'm so glad someone said something about this.
All right, I'll try to finish
Because I wondered how people used AI in, like, courtrooms, and now I know how they use it.
Well, it's mostly like. Oh, watch your neck.
Wow.
There you go. So I mean, it's kind of like. Do you know when I'll wait for your headphones.
That's awesome.
No, I was gonna say, holy shit, this motherfucker's loud. What I was gonna say is, it's much like the news now on AI generated music and AI generated art. Did you know this, Melissa? They won't let you trademark and copyright it. Yeah, I honestly, I should have done a whole episode on this. Let me see if I still got the article up, and I'll read it while you're here. I think I already went through it. It pains me because just recently they ruled you can't copyright it. You can't copyright AI generated music, for instance. It can't be copyrighted. Basically, they've found that for original works, because AI is trained on massive data models, because AI is trained on original work, it can't be copyrighted as an original work.
Very interesting.
So when it comes to AI law, just like the other things that you mentioned in the previous article, Lexi, a lot of the products that are created with artificial intelligence, script writing, video, a lot of it, to be used or taken seriously, or if you want to get paid for it, or if you want it to be copywritten, I'm trying to come up with a scenario that would work well for us. What I'm saying is, there's no better time to be an original artist, because all artificial intelligent created artwork, you kind of have to announce that it's artificial. You know, so if there's a painting, there has to be something on it that that identifies it as artificial. And I know you guys are like, no, it doesn't. Oh, yes, it does. Because when it's created, it has an ID. And there is artificial intelligence that has the intelligence to know that the thing that you created is artificial.
What if it's like half artificial?
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because it does matter if it's half artificial. Like samples. You know how we can use samples in music? Do you know how we can? Okay. But even when we use samples in some of those situations, we have to get samples cleared, or so in the future, I don't know, maybe they will have to specify whether or not it does. I want to see if I'd love to read this.
That is very interesting.
Oh my God, here it is. Are you ready? I found it. Here it is. Bombshell ruling on global music copyright termination emerges, with rumblings of a music industry chaos ahead. A court ruling by a federal judge in Louisiana copyright case has rooted chaos in the music industry over how copyrights on music catalogs function. A federal judge in Louisiana has ruled that U.S. copyright termination rules apply globally, granting songwriter full copyright ownership. Wait a minute, is this the one? Wait a minute, this might not be the one. I'm sorry, y'all. I really have to find this for you now. That's my fault. Please forgive me. Oh my God, I'm so obsessed with this now. Why would I get rid of something like this after talking to y'all? I'm looking it up. Fuck it. No, because now we're talking about it. I feel like I'm leaving everybody hanging.
He's like, I'm searching.
Right. Oh my God. 2 days ago. Oh man, there's so much. Oh my God, there's so much. This breaks my heart. Listen, overall, the report issued on January 29, 2025 reiterates the U.S. copyright fundamental positions on the copyrightability of works generated through the use of artificial intelligence. Human authorship is a bedrock of copyrightability. And thus, works entirely generated by AI are not copyrightable. The mere selection of prompts, even if those prompts are detailed, are the product of some human effort, does not itself yield a copyrightable work. Although this determination could change as technology evolves. That's why I said identifiers, samples, yada yada. You feel me? Where a work includes both human and AI generated content, only the human contributors are potentially copyrightable. The use of AI as a tool to enhance the human creative process for ideation or to edit an image does not render the entire work uncopyrightable. There's your question. I'm so glad we could get to that. Do you like that? Would you like me to send you this article?
Sure,
It's fantastic. You guys, I mean, if you guys aren't into this stuff, it's up to you. But there's so much more to be said about that. Like, even if you are the regular person who just uses AI, just know every time when you're generating shit, it's not yours. Like, that is just something that you need to know. You didn't create it. It's not yours. That's the language in court. It doesn't. You see? No. But you see, this is why I always get in battles with people, because I tend to speak in case law. I'll say I could do something. People go, no, you can't. Will I go, yeah, the fuck I can. And they'll go, no, you can't. And I'll say, come and try me. And they haven't realized I'm talking about what you can do or not do to me legally. So I'll say to the next person that generates something out of AI, and I'll say something like, that's not yours. And they'll go, yes, it is. You know what I mean? We'll get into this whole thing. And I'll say, in court, it's not. Language is only, and when you say cup, when you say bowl, when you say sky, it only is worth its value if they agree in a court of law. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Words don't mean anything unless they're litigated on. I swear. In fact, me just saying I swear or I declare, that's court talk. Swearing and declaring and all that shit. Yes. I know you're going to ask me something.
Well, you know how there are people out there that, like, they'll create songs using AI, like, even with, like, generated voices and
Yes.
things like that, but they wrote the
It doesn't matter.
lyrics or something.
It doesn't matter. That's out.
So
That's out. I just read it to you.
all AI, yeah. they
Ma'am,
have that.
I love you to bits and pieces and particles. What I just read to you was case law. That wasn't my opinion. No, I want to clarify myself too, because I think sometimes when I say stuff, I'll read something from a court case, and I'll read the results of a court case, and people go, "Fuck you, Will," and it's like, no, that is the judge. It's not me. I'm just reading a fucking court case. If I say to somebody, if they draw a picture tonight, right, or write a poem, and they go, "Will, look at my poem," and I say, and they go, "How did you do that?" I wrote this speech. AI wrote it for me. I made this song. I did this painting, and I said, "Oh, well, AI generated it for me." I'm an original artist. My response is going to be the truth, and I will say, "You didn't make that. You don't have the ability to do it."
Except for the words.
And then they're going to say, "I did it," as if to say that they are on par with people that write poetry. They want me to reward them and praise them for this artificial thing. And then I will remind them that if we were to get in an argument about it in court, I would say simply that it's not your property. In court, they don't consider it your property. They consider it you borrowing other people's shit. Same thing with samples. You know when people use samples in rap music and when people sample other people's music, the same fucking thing. You're not the creator of it just because you're a DJ. You think DJs at radio stations that play other people's music are the fucking writers of it?
No.
No, it's the same thing. You think if I copy the Mona Lisa?
No.
Right. I'm borrowing it. I'm experiencing it. Yes. It's not mine. I don't own it.
You're making a copy of it.
The same way you can't own grass.
Right.
Somebody come around and say, you're going to own a piece of grass. You're going to own that tree. You don't own a fucking tree. I don't give a fuck who told you. Because then you got to say that you own the squirrels that live in the tree, right? That's the next thing you're going to tell me. And you want me to go along with that. You're going to tell me you own your wife, you own the tree, you own that. You're going to tell me that you own the poem, that you own the song, that you own the music.
No, you
Isn't that the big trick? That we own the climate, that we own the fucking dolphins and walruses and shit?
We don't own anything.
We don't own none of this shit. It's a product sold to a certain